Take you to his mansion in the sky. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to another Monday night mini medicine card readings. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and I will be your host. Welcome if you're new here. Um, the way this works, the first 6 people who come onto the comments and say yes um, will get a 1 card reading from the medicine card deck, which is a beautiful deck that I have had since the late 80s. And it's with the power animals, the totem animals. And so if you would like a card reading, a 1 card reading, all you need to do is say yes in the comments. Hi, Sylvia. And it begins. So come on in, welcome. Say yes in the comments if you'd like a reading. And my only request is that you please share my videos. And if you have watched me, if you enjoy my videos, if you like me, please like me. You can also, in the description underneath the video, I have links to my Venmo and my PayPal. Yeah, PayPal. I almost said pen pal. My PayPal admin links. And so, hello, Anna. All right, that's 2. What was I saying? Oh, I have the links to my Venmo and my PayPal in the description under this video if you would like to support your friendly neighborhood shaman. I'm not the best at self-promotion, but one of my friends said I need to keep mentioning that this is my day job, that this is what I do for a living, and so every little bit helps. It's no obligation ever. This is a free video. Like I said, my only request is that you please share the video. But I do have my Venmo and PayPal links in the description if you wish to give more or reciprocate. And if you are new here, we have 2 people already. I've got room for 4 more. If you would like a 1-card reading from the medicine card deck, all you need to do is say yes in the comments. And the first 6 people get a 1-card reading. And if you are not one of the first 6, hope is not lost. All you need to do then is choose a number between 1 and 6 and just keep watching until that card comes up. And I promise you that the universe has this beautiful way of weaving stories and messages together. And even though it may technically be aimed at somebody else, I promise that your message will be in there somehow, some way. And along the same lines, you choose a card or whatever, know that if you're watching and you're waiting for your card, but something I say on the card before yours, for example, anything that resonates, claim it. That's yours, right? There are no accidents, right? You are here for a reason. You are here. Everything, like the universe is constantly speaking to us. And so if you hear something, even if it is aimed at someone else, if it touches your heart, claim it. That's your heart saying, yeah, that's for me, right? Because we're all connected, right? So anyway, I think that's all the things I needed to cover. If you don't know me, I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman. Come on in, make yourself at home. I've only got 2 people so far. I've got room for 4 more. All you need to do is say yes in the comments to get a 1-card reading. And we will begin. All right. I think I'm gonna. There we go. I don't know if you can hear the bird song and stuff, but it suddenly seemed really loud to me. Anyway, so here we go. Card number 1 for Sivia. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, like my videos. That helps. I guess that helps other people find me. And I started doing this at the beginning of the pandemic. So I've been doing this for a really long time, but I was doing it on Facebook. So I just moved over to YouTube recently, trying to expand my voice, step out of my comfort zone. And you can help me out by sharing the video and all of that good stuff. Subscribing to my channel, all of that good stuff. So thank you so much. All right. So card number 1 is for Sivia. Haha. All right. So card number 1 for Sivia is Otter. Otter is basically the divine feminine, right? Otter is the very essence of femininity, not just the stereotypical, soft, vulnerable, all that kind of stuff, which she has, but also this fierceness. It's an inclusivity, but also willing to stand up for that community, willing to fight for that community, to defend the community, defend anyone in that community. So if you threaten one otter, you're basically threatening the entire thing. I'm trying to read the message. Love is sacrifice. That is true, but sacrifice is not martyrdom, right? Sacrifice, I'm addressing one of the comments here. I'm not meaning to go off on a tangent, but someone just wrote, everyone will put you through pain. Love is sacrifice. It's about who is worth going through the pain for, because everyone will always hurt you because we are all imperfect. It would take me a really long time to address everything in that statement. But I do want to say, like I said, yes, love is sacrifice, but sacrifice means to make sacred. It's the same root, right? And to make sacred, you sacrifice things that distract you from the focus of who you are, what your path is. And so, yes, in the path, on your spiritual path, you will need to sacrifice people, situations, things, habits, thoughts, beliefs. But if you focus on what you're giving up rather than what the benefits are, then that is where that pain is, right? And yes, you will be hurt by other people, but give me a second. I had a thought and it just went phew. For instance, one of the biggest revelations I've had in recent years is that I always felt like I was a disappointment to my parents. So I always felt like I was less than, I was inadequate because I couldn't live up to their expectations. And so, and that caused me pain. That caused me pain. But I had to realize that that was on them, that they were disappointed. They may or may not. See, that's my perception, that I was a disappointment. I may or may not have been to them, but from my perspective, they were disappointed. I was never a disappointment. Does that make sense? And so people will hurt you, but that you will be hurt. Like Buddha says, life is suffering, but you're in charge of how you respond to that, right? To say people are constantly going to hurt you is to give your power to other people, put that power in someone else's hands of how you are going to be in the world, right? So there is pain and you will be hurt, right? I just had a little conflict with a friend of mine where I was hurt, but at the same time, I have to look at that and see what my part was in that, and realize that ultimately, this is getting deep. I'm not sure, and I need to get back to the cards, but pain and suffering it's a language, it's a sign, like the whole putting your hand on the burner, right? Oh, thank you, Mr. Food Snatcher. Food Snatcher. Thank you. So if you're feeling pain, it's a sign that you're going the wrong direction, right? Life is like a game of that, warmer, colder. If you're getting colder, if you're feeling pain, it means you're turning in the wrong direction. So turn toward the warmth. You don't have to find exactly where that destination is. You don't have to take it all in at one fell swoop. You just have to turn in the other direction, right? And that doesn't mean that the pain will be gone instantaneously. But the more, my heart, I can't tell you how many times my heart has been broken in this lifetime. And as I look back from this point, I am grateful for every single one of them, because your heart breaking is your heart expanding, right? And it hurt at the time. Well, I really kind of stepped in when I started answering this, but I feel like I have to finish it. So personally, if I feel like I was hurt by someone, I have to realize that it's just like looking back on your parents, for example. They were doing the best they could with the best they knew how to at the time. However they treated you, they were trying their best. From their perspective, from their understanding of what life is. And so you can be hurt by that. You can be hurt by someone's negligence. And maybe this fits into the first card, actually, because to focus on the pain, like, I know this is a cliche, but energy flows where consciousness goes. So if you're focusing on the pain and the hurt that you're constantly getting in life and how people are hurting you, you're going to create more of it. If not actually creating it, you're just going to be aware of that, and it's going to eclipse any of the happiness, any of the connections, any of the love that you're actually feeling. Love and pain are not synonymous. You can have love without pain. I have a friend who has gone through a lifetime of anxiety and pain and depression and all kinds of crap. And I hope she doesn't mind me mentioning it. I'm not going to name her or anything. And all my friends are women. 99.99% of my friends are women. So just saying it's a she isn't going to tip anyone off. But she finally got her meds to a place that's more balanced. And now she's questioning herself because I totally resonate with this because I've had the same experiences. Because I have dealt with anxiety and depression. I'm actually on Zoloft right now, or the generic form, sertraline or whatever. And she's starting to feel better, but without that anger and without that depression, without that pain, she's like rethinking herself. She's worried that without that pain, without that fear, without that anger, that she's being numb, that she doesn't have the same drive that she has, because her whole life, that has been the drive of her life, is survival, is the pain and the fear and the anger that drive it. So it's kind of like those things disappear and you get back to a semi-normal humanness, and you're like, who am I? I don't have those things for my guiding lights. Those things, it's kind of like that, there's that syndrome where the victim starts to fall in love with the captor or whatever. It's kind of like that. It's like you have this fear and this anxiety that has been your companion your entire life, and all of a sudden you get rid of it, and as much as you hated it and tried to heal it, when it's gone, you're kind of like, okay, now who am I? What do I do? I've got no bearings. I've got no points of reference, because everything was about getting away from that. Kind of like in The Princess Bride, when they're done and they're jumping out that window, and Inigo Montoya is like Wesley, the dread pirate Roberts asked Inigo Montoya, is like, so now what are you going to do with your life? And Inigo Montoya says, I have been in the vengeance business for so long, I have no idea what it was. Basically, I don't know who I am. I don't know what to do with the rest of my life, right? Because vengeance has been his whole purpose. And so it's about shifting those purposes, shifting those perspectives. Instead of focusing on the pain, think of it like a forge. Like, all the pain that you've been through has been part of the crucible, part of the forge, the heating and the cooling and the hammering to form that sword or whatever it is, right? And so like the spiritual path is hard, it is difficult, it is painful, but it's because we're letting go of false ideas and situations and people, etc., that do not feed us, that do not add to who we are, that don't help us to rise to our whole selves, right? And yes, it can be painful, but at the same time, there's always a gift. There's always the reward of letting go is much more than the pain of letting go, right? And so focus, you know, and when something happens, when somebody does something that hurts you, rather than playing the victim and blaming them and saying, I'm this way because you did this, ask yourself, how can I expand love in this moment? Exactly, Wolf. You have to focus on your goal and what is important despite the pain. It's kind of like I heard Abraham Hicks say one time. He's like, if we knew life was going to be so hard, why did we even volunteer to come back here and learn? And Abraham Hicks likened it to a dog with its head out the window. And he said that, you know, a dog loves to have his head out the window. He loves the wind in its ears and its hair and all the smells, and it's just this exciting thing. And the dog knows that, understands that part of the experience is going to be bugs in the teeth, but the experience of the excitement of having your head out the window so outweighs any bugs in your teeth. And you are a spirit having a human experience, right? So anything that hurts you, you are so much greater than any pain or any challenge that you face in this lifetime. There is nothing that can end you. You are eternal. Who you are is eternal. So I hope that helps. And I should probably get back to card number 1 with Sivia. If you just came in later, I have 4 places left. All you need to do is say yes in the comments, and you'll get a one card reading. And so, and like I said, there are no accidents. So the fact of that coming up and all those things I was saying, kind of fits into Otter, because it's like Otter is inclusivity, right? Thank you, Wolf. Have a great day yourself. When Otter comes up, it's kind of like how do I, okay, give me a second. How do I put this into words? When Otter comes up, there's more of a harmony. There's more of a focus on family, on connection, on unity, right? It's kind of like Bruce Lee was always talking about, be like water, right? Water is formless. It takes the shape of whatever container it gets in. It's the strongest and the softest element in the world. And so it's really about that flowing. Otter, to me, Otter, if there were one animal that could be said to be the best equipped and adapted to their environment, I would choose Otter as my number 1 choice, because Otter is like water, personified. They're flexible. They're malleable. They curve and they laugh and they're fun and they never stop moving. And it's like a piece of the river Well, I actually started writing this story one time, and I haven't finished it yet. But basically, like the river wanted to know. Well, the river loved the feel of the fish swimming through it, right? And the seaweeds on the bottom waving. They loved the feel of when people came down and put their feet in the water. But the river wanted to know what it feels like to others to feel the river around them. And so the river kind of offered that prayer to Grandmother Moon one night as it slept. And the next morning, there was a kerplunk into the water, and the river was like, "What is this?" And the otter was born. And the otter was an embodiment of the river, giving the river the chance to feel what it felt like to swim through itself. To feel otter swimming through it, but to be the otter feeling what it feels like to swim through the water at the same time. And so they're sensual, they're fluid, right? And they are loving. Otters don't recognize otters do not recognize any animals as enemies unless proven otherwise. They greet all animals as friends, as family, until proven otherwise. And there's that open-armed inclusivity, right? Kind of like, I was just thinking about this last night. I went down to the river to do my pipe ceremony, and it's like when you go down to the river, down to the beach, and there's people around. There's like you come down, and it's like there's this certain camaraderie. Like everyone on the beach is connected somehow, and even if you don't talk to someone, they walk by, you smile, and you get that acknowledgement, one person to another person, one soul to another soul, and it's like there's this recognition of connection. You're all having this beach experience. And that's part of the reason I go to that spot on the river sometimes, is because there's a couple of ropes that people have dropped from the top of there's a bridge that goes over the river, and so there's these ropes and stuff, and so the kids are always swinging out into the river. There's always this sense of joy and playfulness, which is otter, right? And so there's this sense of playfulness. There's a sense of flowing, and a sense like with that playfulness, it's remembering that play is how we learn, right? We think that kids playing, it's like, oh, just go out and play. Like it's like a diversion. It's like it's somehow different from learning. Like learning is just sitting in school, reading a book, doing exercises. When kids learn so much more by playing and interacting with other kids or interacting with adults. And adults are the same thing. We play, we learn by playing, we learn by running simulations like a computer does, right? We're like, okay, what would happen if we do this? What happens if I do that? And it's like being open, being playful, realizing that it's all experimental, and that there is always a completely harmonious solution. That's one of my most used affirmations, because like otters, if there's a challenge, if there's an obstacle, they find a way to make it into a game, right? Because they know that like John Lennon said, in quoting someone else, I don't know who said the original quote, but there are no problems, only solutions. Because I always use the example like the New York Times crossword puzzle, right? When they're creating that puzzle, they start with the answers. They start with the solution. They don't figure out all the questions and then try to solve the puzzle themselves before putting it in the newspaper. And it's the same with life. We live in a closed system. We're whole. We're connected to all things. And so anytime there's a problem or a challenge, there is automatically a solution. You can't have a problem without there being a solution, right? It's kind of like how love is the only power in the universe, right? And instead of it being like the traditional good versus evil, it's really about love and fear. And the thing is that love is the only reality. Fear is a perceived absence of love. And so fear, in a person's experiencing fear can be a perceived hole in that love. But, I should have said this with the comment. You can have love without fear, but you cannot have fear without love. If there is fear present, there is automatically a greater love surrounding it. Because love is the very fabric of the universe. So you can have love without fear, but fear only can exist within the context of a greater love. So it's not two equal forces banging heads until the end of time to see who is stronger. Fear is an illusion, but that's also in this world of duality. That is, fear is a tool because fear is the seed of courage. You can't have courage without fear, right? Courage doesn't happen in the absence of fear. Courage happens despite the fear that is present. That's the definition of courage. And so it's really, so coming back to the card, I am so all over the place, I apologize. It's really about focusing on the connection, on the unity of the universe, of humanity, of noticing, focusing on the connections and the love and the things that are working out, rather than always focusing on the things that don't work out or how hard things are, right? My favorite affirmation is everything is always working out for me, because it is. I can look back on my life and I have come through 100% of all the challenges I have ever faced. Everything has always worked out. Just like water, it hits a barrier, it pools until it can rise and go over that barrier, or it finds a way under or around, or it just keeps flowing, and it creates a hole through the barrier. So focus on what brings you love, on what fills your heart. And trust that when challenges come up, that there is always a completely harmonious solution. Trust that, again, the universe, the universe is safe, friendly, and abundant. The universe is on your side, and the universe loves you and provides everything you need. And so if there is a challenge, if there is a lack, if there is a desire, it is there as a step up. It might seem kind of daunting at the moment, kind of like a third grader going into the fourth grade, like, oh my God, I don't know if I know everything that I need to know to get into the fourth grade. But that's part of the learning. As you get into the fourth grade, you learn what you need to do to get through the fourth grade, right? So I can't remember where I heard that. That's actually that the universe is safe, friendly, and abundant. I think it was another. I used to read a ton of channeled books. I think it was one of the channels that said that. That was one of those things that I held on to, because it's like that Einstein quote about the greatest decision you will ever make is whether you live in a friendly universe or a hostile one, because those two things are mutually exclusive. And if you live in a friendly universe, then everything is working for your betterment. Everything is working. The cards are stacked in your favor. And so then life becomes rather than being something to overpower you, it becomes an adventure, because you know you're going to come out. You are the hero of your story, and you know you're going to succeed. The universe wants you to succeed. So I hope that is helpful. I think I kind of wandered back and forth with that card and addressing that comment earlier. But I hope that is helpful. This, to me, the main message to Otter coming up is, welcome to the family. You're doing it, right? It's like the universe saying, welcome home. Finally, you're part of us. You see it, you feel it, you recognize that you are a valued and beloved part of the universe. So, there you go. All right. Card number 2 for Anna. It might be kind of a short night tonight, because I still, if you're coming in late, I have 4 spots left. All you need to do, if you would like a 1-card reading, is say yes in the comments. If not, we've only got 2 cards to go. This is the last reading one, and then I've got the community cards. So please, if you would like a 1-card reading, and the only thing I ask in return is to please share my video. So that seems relatively inexpensive to me. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. And if you'd like a 1-card reading, just say yes in the comments. I know I keep repeating myself, but it's like I watch the number at the top of my screen kind of go up and then down and then up and then down. I have no idea if I can even trust it. But so welcome. All right, so card number 2 for Anna. Okay, Sylvia, Otter wasn't done yet. not only is that card a recognition, the universe saying, welcome home, it is like I saw Otter looking at her reflection in the water and recognizing within herself the very stuff of the universe that was welcoming her home. Does that make sense? So it's not just it's not just the universe welcoming you home, seeing you. It's that you're seeing yourself in the universe, and you're seeing the universe in yourself. Kind of like the story I told earlier with when Otter came into being as a part of the river, and the river could feel Otter swimming through her, but she was also Otter feeling what it felt like to swim through the river. Wow, that's a really cool way that came out. I couldn't have planned that. That was totally unplanned. I love the synchronicity. All right, card number 2 for Anna. Oh, cool. Oh yeah, the river in the background. I didn't even think of that. So it'd be cool if we saw a little otter swimming. So, all right, card number 2 for Anna. And if you're wondering why my hair, I've got a fan right here because it's hot and muggy in my apartment. So I'm doing the model thing, like, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Anyway, so card number 2 for Anna is Dolphin. To me, Dolphin is like the perfect example of something I said earlier about that whole idea of being a spirit having a human experience rather than a human having a spiritual experience. Because it's another way of putting that is being in the world but not of the world, right? Just like Dolphin, who is an air-breathing mammal but lives his life out in the water, right? And if you think about the watery depths, etc., as the world, because that's Dolphin's world, right? And so metaphorically, you can think of our world as that ocean of emotion and the topsy-turvy politics and dramas and personal things, the ups and downs, and the thing that allows Dolphin to navigate through that seeming chaos is that routine of rising up to the air, taking a breath, diving back into the world, and it's like bringing that breath within that allows Dolphin to swim through the water and not get thrown by the tides or washed away. To know himself as what do I want to say? How do I say this? As the navigator. He knows himself as the navigator, as the one who decides what direction he's going to go, what he's going to do. And again, just like Otter, there's this whole sense of playfulness, right? Like, let's see how high I can jump out of the water. Um, there's a boat going by. Let's go surfing through the wake of the boat. Um, it reminds me of that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Um, not not the so long and thanks for the fish thing, but the part where they talk about how humans humans thought that they were the greatest um, creature on Earth because they created civilization and digital watches and war, and all the dolphin ever did was muck about in the water having a good time. And on the other side of that, dolphin knew themselves to be superior to humans because of the very same thing, right? You know, it's what there's so much stuff in it, like trying to siphon it down and put it into words is so difficult. But it really is recognizing that you are not at the whim of the currents, of the waves, of the flows, that you are self-determining, that you are self-contained, that you are sovereign in your own being, and that you are in this world for your own purposes. And that is what decides what your priorities are. And like Abraham Hicks said, your biggest priority should be to feel good. That is your first priority. Which fits kind of like with Joseph Campbell talking about following your bliss, right? It's not necessarily always fun and easy, but when you follow that bliss, when you follow that joy, that is, even if you need to sacrifice things, bringing in my talk from earlier, even if you need to sacrifice something, by sacrificing that thing, you're prioritizing, you're making sacred your path. You're letting go of things that no longer serve you, that no longer support you in becoming who you are. And there is no one in the world, no one in the universe who has the authority to tell you that whatever your focus is wrong, right? I was watching this show, I'm watching this show on Netflix right now about, it's like Halle Berry, she's this astronaut, and I was watching her up on their space station, whatever thing, and I was it struck me like, why is she there? What is it that made her become an astronaut and to spend her life in this environment that if I were there, I mean, I love Star Trek, right? And I would love to fly on a spaceship. I have dreams of flying the Millennium Falcon. But at the same time, if that were my life, like she was up there for like 13 months or something, if I was only surrounded by electronics and EMRs and beeps and stuff, I would be curled up in a ball in the corner someplace waiting for someone to come save me. But to her, that was her place. That's where she thrived. That's where her joy was. Right from the early childhood to that time on the spacecraft, that was her joy, and she was drawn to all the things to get her to that. That's not my priority, that's not what my purpose is, but by her following her purpose, She benefits the entire race, the entire planet. Um, and so it's like really listening to your own heart. And this can sound kind of callous, but it's like taking everyone else out of the equation, because taking care of yourself is taking care of everybody else. The universe is a giant hologram, right? In a hologram, every particle of a hologram contains the entire hologram. Like the best example is if you remember, like in the 80s, there were these holographic bookmarks that were really popular. There were like pictures, there were literally pictures of dolphins jumping, holographic pictures of dolphins on these bookmarks. And the thing is, if you took that bookmark and cut it into, say, 3 pieces, you wouldn't have 3 portions of an image. You would have 3 complete examples of that whole image. That is the nature of the universe. That is how the universe works. And so within you, you contain the entire universe. You contain all of humanity within you. And so by focusing on what brings you joy, what is fulfilling to you, what is your calling, what is healing to you, automatically heals everybody. It's not selfish. It's the furthest thing away from selfish, because the best thing you have to offer this world is yourself and your highest possible frequency at any moment. Hi, Tiffany. Yes, there is space. Yay. Good to see you. And so, getting back to dolphin, you know, there in a number of languages, air and spirit are synonymous. Sometimes they have the same root word. In other languages, they're the same exact word. Air and spirit are the same. And so if you think about the spirit, it's that air in dolphin's lungs that allows it to thrive in the water. But dolphin has to rise to spirit, right? Rise to the surface, that thin boundary between the water and the sky, in order to open up and receive spirit, which is what allows dolphin to dive again and navigate through the watery, turbulent world. And so it's that regular, that rhythm, right, of alignment, rising to spirit, whether it's, you know, whatever spiritual practice you have. I always highly recommend some form of daily spiritual practice, whether it's meditating, whether it's just lighting a candle on your altar, whatever it is, because it's in those times of stillness and silence, of connecting inwardly rather than outwardly, that we're opening up, we're connecting to spirit, we're aligning with our higher self, which opens the door for that spirit to fill us. And then when we go along our path, walking through our daily routines, you have spirit with you. And so everything you do is then aligned action. It's inspired action, inspirited action. So, and I know, like, and at your last reading, We kind of talked about that too, about prioritizing yourself, prioritizing your joy, not just the woohoo joy of dancing and playing and everything, but that feeling of joy within, like the rightness of being, the joy in stillness, the joy of knowing yourself beyond words, beyond concepts, but just being in touch with that part, that peace within, that stillness within. That's the priority. And so the fact that dolphin comes up is a validation that you're doing it. And it's that connecting to spirit that allows us to be more playful, to have more laughter and silliness, right? There's something about enlightenment that goes hand in hand with humor, right? It's like anybody that's enlightened, and I always use the Dalai Lama as my example, because he's, in my mind, perhaps like the most enlightened, he's possibly the most enlightened soul on the planet, right? And he can't go 5 minutes without laughing. He's constantly joking, constantly laughing. And it's like there's this, the more whole, the more healed, the more enlightened you become, the lighter you become, the happier, the more joyful, the more childlike you become. Not childish, but childlike. And that's what Dolphin is about. Dolphin's about mucking about in the water and having a good time. And no one else has the authority to tell you that you should be doing anything else. You came here for your own priorities, your own purposes, and no one else can actually tell you what those are. No one else can know what that exactly is. You are sovereign. And so enjoy yourself, dance and play in the water. Enjoy your spirit. Enjoy what it feels like. Right? That's more important than the dancing and everything, because the dancing is a side effect of knowing who you are and being in touch with your inner self, right? So feel that joy and then dance. So I hope that is helpful. So we'll go to card number 3 now for Tiffany. And if there's anyone that's come in late, all you need to do if you'd like a 1-card reading is say yes in the comments. Otherwise, this will be our penultimate card, which actually means that, absolutely. Hi, Linda. Hello from New Zealand. Wow. It's tomorrow there. Cool. Thank you, Linda. Yes. You'll be number 4. We're on card number 3. So Tiffany, card number 3. And did I hear you say he was to meet you here today? Take you to his mansion in the sky. That's my little dun 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 dun. No. Been listening to a lot of Tanya Tucker today for some reason. Alright. Oh, awesome. Card number 3 for Tiffany is Ant. And I'm starting to sense the theme, the thread that's running through all of these. Um, in different ways, but ant ant medicine is about many things, including patience, including um, you know, the tiny steps, the progress. Realize, like, kind of what I was just saying with Dolphin about enjoying the joy, not worrying about where you're going with it, where it's taking you, enjoying the moment, right? Being present. The present is your point of power, and knowing that your life is a cumulative thing of moments, and by staying present in each moment, one day you wake up and there's this whole big anthill that you built. Like, when did that happen? And it happens by moving one little pebble at a time, and like our ant here on the picture carrying this one little piece of leaf. There are millions of other ants, each carrying a tiny piece of leaf. And by each one, like, focusing on their responsibility, which is just one single piece of leaf, the entire anthill gets fed. And so again, it's about prioritizing your path, knowing that your path is unique. I mean, there might be other people, how do I say this? Like the ants, there are many different roles that the different ants play. Some are soldiers, some are farmers, some are nurses, etc., etc. There's like different roles. And so it's like knowing that you are part of a bigger system, but that you don't have to worry about knowing the nurse's role, knowing the farmer's role, knowing the soldier's role. Your only purpose is to do what your heart calls you to do. Do what comes naturally, which is foraging, bringing a piece of leaf to the anthill, knowing that there are millions of others working at the same task, helping you out, and there are millions more doing all the other tasks that are in harmony with you, but not the same, because it's the harmony that allows the anthill to function as a whole. It's all the different little jobs that makes it function as a whole, as a society, right? And so Ant is about taking the world off your shoulders, even though you are stronger than most people, right? When Ant comes up, it's like there is a strength to you beyond most humans, right? Ant can carry up to, like, I think it's like 10 times its own body weight. And because of that, and because other people just kind of recognize that in you, you've probably spent your entire life carrying other people's crap, just because they saw that you were stronger. So, hey, you can take this and you can take this. And so you've been carrying everyone else's stuff, which leaves you little room to carry your own stuff, right? And so this is about giving yourself permission to put all that crap down. like one of my newest favorite sayings is, no adult, no healthy adult should be carried to the top of the mountain. Something like that. I have to re-look that up. I don't remember if that was the exact quote, but it's basically any no able-bodied adult should be carried to the top of the mountain. And so it's about putting down everyone else's stuff. And just because you're strong doesn't mean you need to weigh yourself down every step of the way, right? If you're weighing yourself down every moment of the day, then when someone actually needs help, your arms are full, you have nothing, there's no space for you to help out, to add to someone else's, because you're constantly carrying things on your back that aren't yours to carry. And if you're carrying other people's stuff, other people's energy, then you're not allowing yourself to, you're not giving yourself the space you need to excel on your own path, to find your own talents and to shine, right? So I was like, well, I could have done that, but my family wouldn't approve, or I need to stay close to home in case my family needs them. And so I'll just put my dreams aside and maybe one day I'll get to them. It's like, no. Your dreams are there for you to follow. And again, like I was saying earlier, you don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't have to ask permission. You are sovereign in your being. Only you can know what you came here to experience. And how do I put this? By carrying things that aren't yours. Give me a second. My wheels are spinning. Give me a second. Let me Okay. Kyle C, so I've mentioned before that I follow him on YouTube and stuff. He said one time, like, what if Michael Jackson never got a record contract and just went and got a job at Burger King? And he might have sung while he's flipping burgers and stuff, and people are like, you should really get out, you're so good, you could change the world. And he would be like, nah, I can't leave, it's like my family's here, and I went to school here, blah, blah, blah. And think of what a tragedy that would have been. Or Elvis, if Elvis had just stuck to being a truck driver. He was learning to be an electrician. What if Elvis became an electrician and didn't pursue his dreams of singing? The world would be totally different. And so it's, again, that whole idea of sacrificing. It's about, like, sacrificing means to make sacred. You sacrifice things that don't support your dreams, such as family, such as, how do I put this? Something that's been coming to me a lot lately. Realizing that my path as a shaman, my family accepts it as best they can, but they don't understand it. And one thing I learned this past Christmas was that there is nothing I can say or do that is going to make them understand. And the more I spend energy and time trying to make them understand from my point of view is wasted energy that takes away from the energy I need to soar. And so it's like I have to become my best person, even if it makes no sense, even if it seems to other people to end in catastrophe. I need to follow my path and normalize my world, my perspective, even if other people are hurt by it, even if other people don't understand it, even if other people worry about me. My job is to follow my dreams because that's where I can best help those same people. Does that make sense? By becoming your best self, you have more, if not world changing, say like Elvis, you have more resources with which to help others, and you can help from a place of power, right? Like Abraham Hicks says, you can't get sick enough to help someone who's ill. You can't get poor enough to help someone in poverty. The only way to help is from a place of power. Like you don't jump in to the water to rescue a drowning person. You either reach something to them from solid ground, or you throw something to them to pull them in from solid ground, from your own solid footing. So don't compromise your world, your purpose for anyone else. And know that there's this quote from Epictetus, and it's actually on the first page of my website, about if you're going to succeed, you have to be content with looking stupid and foolish, right? And it's like Nietzsche said, it's like the ones who were dancing seemed insane to those who couldn't hear the music. Don't pretend that you don't hear the music of your soul. Don't pretend that you don't have dreams. Your dreams are a gift from the universe to tell you which direction to go. And that fulfillment of those dreams is your greatest avenue to help the world, to help all of humanity. So be good to yourself. Prioritize yourself. Again, like I said earlier, take everybody else out of the equation. And if you have a choice, or you're wondering if something's the right thing to do, don't ask other people's opinions. Go within and ask your heart, because your heart is what connects you to Creator, number one, and your heart is what connects you to the heart of all living things and all of humanity. So if you ask, what is the best thing for me to do, or is this the best path for me to follow, and your heart says yes, your heart has already done the calculations. Your heart has already taken every living thing and creator into consideration to know that this is the right way. This is for the highest benefit of all beings. So listen to your heart first. Does Does that make sense? The world needs more passionate people. The world needs more whole people, more joyful people. So follow your joy, knowing that every bit of joy you bring into the world is that much more joy that's available to everyone. Right? So I hope that's helpful. Blah, blah, blah. Tiffany, I hope that makes sense, but you're doing a good job. This is kind of a message of keep going. Don't get ahead of yourself. You're doing just fine. You're doing just fine. So keep on keeping on. It's actually a Michael Nesmith song. Google it. It's a really good song, and that's kind of the whole essence of that message. You're doing just fine. So keep on keeping on. Ba 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 ba. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, but oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Tiffany. Well, thanks, Charles. All right, Linda, card number 4. So if there's anyone new coming in, I do have space for 2 more if you would like a 1-card reading. Just say yes in the comments. My only request is that you share my video, or you can invite other people to watch, or if you enjoy my work, if you enjoy the readings, to share them. Sharing is caring. And spread the word. I appreciate that. That's one of the biggest things you can do to help me out. And I appreciate it. So, all right, Linda from New Zealand. That is so cool. I'm glad you joined us. Oh, another lyric of that song. Number good is better than number 1. Consider the source and ignore it if you can. Whatever is said to undo the plan. Consider the source and my friend. You're doing just fine. So keep on keeping on. All right, Linda. All right. Card number 4 for Linda is Prairie Dog in reverse. And Prairie Dog, especially in reverse, Prairie Dog is about retreat. Earlier I was talking about dolphin and the need for dolphin to, rise regularly to the surface to take a breath, and that breath is what allows him to swim and thrive in his environment. Prairie Dog is kind of the opposite, as far as Prairie Dog needs to regularly, how do I put it, retreat from the world, right? Prairie dogs are very communal. They're very community oriented. And in their vast underground prairie dog towns, they always have chambers for the individual prairie dogs to go and just kind of hang out for a while, to kind of get back in touch with who they are, with their baseline frequency, or however you want to think about that. to recharge. Because again, this is kind of what I was saying earlier. They can be the best citizen, they have the most to contribute to their society if they are whole in themselves, if they know who they are, um, if their needs are being met, etc. Right? And so in reverse, it's especially hinting at the need to take some time to yourself, to take some time away from life. Ideally, it would be like to get away for a weekend or even a week if you can do that, and to spend time alone, whether it's even like checking into a motel for a day or two, or even just creating a space in your home if you live with others, like to set aside a time and a space where you're uninterrupted. But ideally, it would be someplace where you can be totally alone, totally without the energetic influence of anybody else. And I know as an empath myself that sometimes, I mean, I grew up the oldest of 5 kids, so there was no getting your own space and time. And so it's kind of similar to the earlier thing with Ant, in that it's time to prioritize your own needs. When we focus too much on the outside world, when everybody else's good and well-being is more important than ours, then that's when the boundaries get blurry. We start to overextend ourselves. We start to deplete our own energy in trying to support others, right? And then we forget who we are, and it becomes that spiral, not in a good way, into becoming less and less aware of ourselves, like not knowing who we are anymore, especially as an empath, being buffeted day and night by other people's energy, which doesn't allow us to sink into our own. And so right now it's really important to kind of seek out that stillness, to seek out the darkness, right? Kind of like planting a seed in the dark earth, or anytime any creature that burrows, that goes into the earth, it's like into that darkness. That is the womb of the cosmic mother. Or like in this case, you could say it's the womb of the earth mother. And there's a need for rebirth. It's like to let okay, to finish that sentence, it's like to let parts of you that no longer serve you or anyone else to die by going back into the womb, finding yourself, remembering yourself, remembering who you are, getting that sense of self I had mentioned earlier with Dolphin, right? To know who you are in order to come back into society, back into community, back into family, with your whole self and your integrity intact, so that you can again, like help from a place of power. Another thing about about prairie dog is that, again, like they're very playful and roly-poly and enjoy their lives. And part of the reason they can do that without like not having to be hyper vigilant or worrying about the next threat is because they always have a sentinel on duty. There's always at least one prairie dog whose job it is to scan the skies and to scan the horizon for predators. And at the first threat of a predator, the sentinel sounds the alarm and all the prairie dogs go scampering for safety into the burrows. And so because it's one prairie dog's job to be that sentinel, the others don't have to worry about don't have to worry about threats coming in, don't have to worry about what's, over that rise or what's up in the sky. Because there's someone whose job it is to actually watch over them. In reverse, another aspect of what might be happening right now how do I put this? If I ever say anything that doesn't resonate, let it go, because like I said, like other people are watching. Sometimes, even if it's your card, I might say things for other people that have chosen that card. But I just want to qualify it in case this doesn't resonate. But I'm getting this really strong compulsion to say that in reverse, it can be kind of an over protection of others, being so concerned with others and keeping others safe that you're ignoring your own growth. Again, kind of like Ant, you're spending so much time and energy on protecting others and making sure that others are safe that you're not giving yourself the energy and the time that you need in order to grow, in order to feel safe yourself, right? And it's there's a balance of realizing that there's no, how do I put this? There's nothing wrong with, alerting others to things or, to be there as a guide, to be there as a buffer for certain people if they're growing on their own. But ultimately, just like you're here with your own purpose, your own connection to the divine, whatever that relationship is, to grow, to become your full self, every single person on the planet has that same impetus. Every person on the planet is just as divine as you, just as connected as you. And so sometimes by being overprotective of others, we're not allowing them to learn their lessons or to develop their own intuition so that they can feel safe and protected in their own right from their own sovereign being. Does that make sense? And so right now it's important to find some time and space, some solitude, to really get in touch with who you are to pay attention to parts of you that have gotten ignored, that haven't seen the sun for a long time. It's almost like a soul retrieval, kind of going into the dark to find those forgotten parts of you that have been delegated to the shadow, to the darkness, to again remember them, right? And to bring them back out of the darkness into the light. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. And yeah, prioritize. Again, there is nothing selfish about taking time for yourself, for your own self-healing. That is actually the least selfish thing you can do. Remember that just as you have a purpose, as you have a path, so does everybody else. That everyone else is just as divine, is a spirit having a human experience just like you. And you can help them from your place, from wherever you are on your path, to guide them. But the whole purpose is to empower others rather than to protect them, to create connections rather than barriers, right? A leader creates more leaders, not followers. And I love, by the way, that your last name is Swan. That brings in a whole nother, one of the things that I was taught along the way is that, there are no accidents, right? Your name, the name you were given, the family you were born into, like, that all has meaning. That all is just like you're born under a certain sign or whatever. When you're given a name, that name has significance, right? It's not by accident. And so the fact that your last name is Swan is like, Swan is the ugly duckling, right? I'm actually just south of Seattle, Washington. So I'm in the States. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, near Seattle. So, but, I love the whole thing about name. Like, my last name is Corrigan. It's Irish. And I still remember I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, and one of my classmates' dads was kind of the playground help, like watching the kids on the playground. And he looked at me and said, Corrigan, that's another name for the little people. I'm like, what? And at the time, of course, I didn't have the context or the internet to look things up, but that always stuck with me. And finally, I was able to look it up. I found out that Corrigan is a race of fairy folk, and which just resonates the heck with me, out of me, whatever the right way of saying that is. And so, like, the fact that your name is Swan, that is definitely something to think about as a context of what your purpose. You are here to shine. You are here to overcome all of the difficulties, just like the story of the ugly duckling, right? And to see your path, like surrender to your path, to know that everything you encounter on your path is getting you closer to becoming who you came here to be, this angelic bird of light that heals and that inspires by its very presence, right? I don't know anyone who sees a swan is like, ew, you know? Whenever you see a swan, it's like, oh my God, it's like a gift from the gods. And that's it's almost like that is part of your path, to be that light, to heal and to uplift by your very presence. It's not as important what you do. Just like my teacher, Sandra Ingerman, says, it's not what you do, but who you become that heals the world. So, a little extra bit of a reading there for you, Linda. Since that's our last card, I haven't had anyone else say yes. So, and since we're at our, well, I always put 7:30 as the end time, which has been getting closer and closer to 2 hours every week. But so we only had 5 cards this week, so I think I'm going to call it there. I'm still going to do one more card, so don't go anywhere. I'm going to do one more card as our community card. This is kind of our communal totem for the week, the one we have in common, the one that is walking with each of us this week. And while I am shuffling, I just go through my little plugs. Again, please share my video. You know, you can tag people in the comments, share it to other people's pages or whatever on social media, for which I appreciate so much. And if you really enjoyed what I do, you felt you got something out of tonight, and you would like to support your friendly neighborhood shaman, I have my PayPal and Venmo links in the description under this video. And anything you give me is met with such gratitude. It's like beyond grateful. This is my day job. This is what I do for a living, so every little bit helps, and it goes right to me to support me and learning my I'm so glad you came tonight, Linda. Thank you so much for your kind words, and I hope to see you again. Thank you. What was I saying? Squirrel! Oh, you know, so it's kind of, and that's the traditional way of the shaman, is that the community supports the shaman who supports the community. And so the more you support me, that means I can focus more on my own path, my own lessons, my own challenges, etc., to have more resources to offer my community on your path. Speaking of which, if you would like a personal reading, like a full reading, one-on-one, you can visit my website, perchingwolfstudios.net. You can learn more about me. You can see the different shamanic services I offer, readings and healings and teachings. Oh my! I do the readings. I do shamanic healings like soul retrieval and fairy doctoring. Reiki, I'm a Reiki master. All kinds of stuff. And I also do teaching. I'm working up some classes. I'm almost done getting the mechanics of one class together so I can offer that. I'm going to be offering those online, I hope. So stay tuned to that. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook. usually I'm better actually at posting events on my Facebook page than I am actually on my website, which I intend to be a little better about. But yeah, follow me on Facebook, my Perching Wolf Studios page. Keep you better up to date. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, like my videos. That helps the algorithm so more people can find me. So the more the merrier, right? Trying to expand my voice and step out of my comfort zones and step toward my own highest self, or whatever, however you want to put that. And you can, and I also do one-on-one mentorship. So if you're looking for a teacher, spiritual teacher, you enjoy my videos, etc., you feel like if you resonate with me, I would be honored to be your teacher, to be your mentor. And in that, my job is not, again, to rubber stamp a clone of myself so that you do everything the way I do, etc. My job is to use my own experience, my vast lifetime of experience on a spiritual path, to help you discover your own unique heart path. And that is one of my favorite aspects of my job. I love my job. I love the one-on-one. It is so gratifying and such, I can't even put into words the joy of seeing somebody fly, right? Seeing someone find their own wings and flying. So that again is perchingwolfstudios.net. You can actually sign up for a session with me right from my website. Am I forgetting anything? If you're not aware of it, Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock Pacific time, I also do another video. I am a sacred pipe carrier, the Lakota sacred pipe ceremony. I do that every Wednesday night at 6, about an hour long, doing the ceremony to connect to spirit, kind of like I was talking about with Dolphin tonight. Taking an hour to just sit in silence, to sit in ceremony, connect to spirit, align with our higher selves, take the world off our shoulders, and breathe for an hour. So you can check that out as well. And I feel like I've been talking way too much, so let's get to our final card of the evening, our communal totem card. Which is, tell me to take it from the middle of the deck. That's interesting. Lynx. Lynx is the matron saint of psychics and seers. This is a message from the universe to say that to trust your intuition, trust what you feel. Lynx is the keeper of secrets. When she looks at you, she doesn't just look at you, she looks through you. She knows everything there is to know about you before you even utter a word, right? So she just reads you, but there's no judgment in that, right? She's the keeper of secrets, not the declarer of secrets or the gossiper of secrets. She sees you as who you are without judgment, right? And she keeps those secrets, and she doesn't offer her insights unless asked. She keeps those secrets. Because until someone asks, she sees you, despite and because of your challenges, etc. She knows, like what I said earlier about having no authority to tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing, where you should be in life, that, hey, you should have been further along by now, or whatever that is. She sees you as you are in this moment, perfect and whole. And so it's the trust yourself. When you get a reading on someone, when you get feelings about someone, when you see someone and you just know something about them, trust the accuracy of those feelings, but also know that your job is not to fix other people. Your job is not to heal other people, to know what someone else needs. We never volunteer our services. Well, we offer them like I offer here. I do these videos, I offer my services, but if no one showed up with questions, if no one showed up wanting readings, it wouldn't work, right? And so I don't just go down, oh, you need a soul retrieval, I think you need to talk to your parents. I don't go down the road judging and reading people from the place of trying to fix everyone or know what everybody needs. I've got enough on my plate figuring out my own stuff, right? And part of your own stuff, like in shamanism, we talk about becoming the hollow bone that spirit moves through. And it's basically getting out of your own way so that spirit can move through you more purely. You become as hollow a bone as you can so that you can trust those feelings, you can trust that intuition, you can trust the messages coming through you because you realize it's not you. And so part of like not focusing on fixing other people, taking care of your own issues, is those issues are coming up to be cleared out so you can become that hollow bone to more purely reflect and become the eyes and the hands and the voice of spirit. So trust yourself and focus on your own growth. Know that when the world needs you, it will ask. Does that make sense? And again, like I was just talking about swan medicine, you actually help more with your presence, with your being, just being present, than anything you could possibly do, any act you could possibly do. You change the world more by your wholeness, by your healing of yourself, by creating that space for spirit within you, than you do anything you can do for others. All right? Oofda. All right, that is our night. That is the readings for tonight. We only did 5 cards, but if by chance you came on late and we're choosing a number and you chose 6, let our community card be your number 6. And I thank you so much for your presence. Thank you. Like I just said, this wouldn't happen without you. And it keeps getting longer and longer because people actually are showing up. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. I thank you. I thank you for spending your time and your energy with me. I hope you will Come back next week, invite your friends, and until I see you again, know that I love you, that I see you, and that I honor you. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and go shining. All right, bye for now. You're so welcome, Charles. Bye now.